He is W. He is a W. Why live in drum and bass? Drum and bass is the best place to live. This is my shed. I don't live in here. It's me, Stuart Americ. See you later, minimums. I am here. I believe it's our New Zealand friend. Apparently, Auckland's in New Zealand. Fake news. Yeah, they're all styrofoam. I only lift fake weights. No, it's styrofoam. I only lift fake weights. That's why I keep changing them, so I don't break my fake weights. We're here for the fake weights. Yeah. Very cool. I don't know which light. There's 3 different lights, and there's probably spiders in all of them. Oh no! The spider! I'm in a solid state. 0 for 2. I don't have a Nissan, nor do I don't have a truck. I have no reason to ever purchase a truck. If anything, I get a Toyota, or like a smaller car. But no, I don't have either one of those. I live in Auckland. I don't. I'm a danger to everyone else. I drive on the correct side. 90. We're gonna redo that set. same thing. It's very annoying. We're gonna go up to 100, but just do a regular single. Yeah. No, I'm gonna be persistent with this weight. Power's better, just have to not be lazy on the full. Enough. Alright. Right hand first. Alright, 100. This would be a really good power plus pull. I just want to make sure I do good technique, regardless. So annoying. I just went so early on the second rep. It's right there too. Alright. Take one more crack at it. That power felt good. A little loopy, but good nevertheless. Come on. Vertical, vertical. Oh, sign, just keep putting it forward. Ah, I gotta do it again. I can't leave it that close. First one, the power feels so good. To just get it back. It's 100 right now. I just keep going just slightly early. Look at it. Hi. I've done that every time. KG. I suppose in one sense, like, I powered, I didn't miss any powers. And I was just out in front on all, like, the misses were all technically the same mistake each time, which is why I felt relatively confident about, like, doing it again. And the powers, even, like, the last one was probably the worst technically, but I was still getting enough speed on it. So can't be I mean, obviously be better to get that initially, but having the powers there at least is good. And really, like, holding the hook grip the whole time, I didn't have any issues with that on any of the reps. But after we do power clean, front squat, and jerk, actually, what did I do the last time? So I feel like 100 is where I missed the last time I tried to do a session like this. If I can find it. So that week I just did power plus 4. So it looks like the previous time I did this type of session, I was able to do 100. So it looks like I didn't have any misses. Not too bad. ECW. Kind of dying from the heat. Dying from the heat. I see something. Whew. But I just finished the first exercise that I was doing. Oh, if I can turn this, sorry. Get a close-up of my eyeball. Get a close-up of my eyeball. Alright. CW, I'm trying to read your profile picture, but I can't see it. I can't like click to your profile, at least on my phone either. She'll leave a comment on just literally like any video, like any normal video, so that I can look at it. Yes, this is an eye live stream now. You see my bloodshot eye. But doing a couple reps at 100 is good. Thank you, I guess. Yeah, Tech has got me. But CW, you should comment on just any video so that I can't read your profile picture. It's too small on the live streams. I'm curious what it says. Oh, that's what it says? Wow, so you're not complimenting me. Alright. Alright, I get it. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, see you later, Tech. Hey, leave Tech alone. He's my New Zealander. He's my New Zealand pal. Even if he drives on the wrong side of the road. Oh, I can't find my linear app. Alright. 70 kilos. If it feels right, then we go to 110. And then we'll do 130. Whew. Oh. Let me actually turn the fan up around. Oh, my biggest fan. Ah. Really the hardest part of training when it's super hot is not the fact that you get sweaty, but if I'm doing like cleans and stuff now where I have to catch in my front rack, then having sweat will just make it more slippery. Kind of makes me glad I waited until it was cooler in the evening to train because it was pretty hot today. Pretty muy caliente afuera hoy. Man, thankfully it doesn't get too much different in here than it does outside. So yeah, today it was high at 85. So it looks like tomorrow it's supposed to rain, so it might actually be pretty cool. So I do a couple of these cleans, power clean, front squat, jerk, and then I do some snatch sots press. Well, my state can make that decision, at least for today. Usually in the spring it can get pretty up and down, but that's how the Midwest is. Once you hit about June, it stays pretty consistently hot. Okay. Alright, so 110. And then really 130. This might actually be easier without straps. And my hands are getting, my calluses are developing on my thumbs, so they're not getting irritated as much not having thumb tape on. Which is good because I always sweat out of thumb tape. So I don't know, you can kind of see like my thumb is still chalky, but on the other side there's zero chalk, and so that's what always happens when I'm doing a snatch or anything. The tape just kind of like slips off eventually or relatively quickly. So it makes it kind of annoying because I essentially just have to put new tape on every single rep that I do. And even then it still will slip because I mean, whether it's hot or not, especially in the winter, tape will stand a little bit better because you sweat a little bit less. Alright. 110. Pretty easy. Well, yeah, he's stronger. He takes steroids. He's roided up to the gills. To be honest, you could probably dumbbell press more than I can. Guess I can. You made me put on my reading glasses. Food truck. Yeah, no, for sure. I just have a doctor's appointment in the morning. I assume it's not like, my doctor's appointment is at 8 a.m. It's super early. So I'd assume, unless you're planning on going in the morning, that I'd be able to do that. So yeah, just let me know. To be fair though, Justin, I think you could dumbbell press, especially incline, because I'm not good at incline at any point. So if you're dumbbell inclining, even like 90, like the last time I tried or did anything with 90 on the dumbbell bench was probably about 8 years ago. I just don't do it. Gym doesn't have a good dumbbell selection. But the, what's tomorrow? Thursday. So the rubber should get here tomorrow, and then I'll be able to build a platform in the house. So then what I plan on doing, even if you ever need your Eleiko bar, it's incline dumbbell bench or dumbbell bench, you like unironically I think you could do more than me. Like I'm not even just trying to pump you up. Like I'm actually that's the one lift you could definitely beat me on right now. And honestly, if we both had a firing squad standing behind us, you'd probably overhead press more than I can. I know I've done more than what you can, but I feel like your shoulders will just, like if your shoulders had to, they would press more than I can. Yeah, for real. But what I'm planning on doing is getting the old Titan plates, so the pound, the pound ones, and putting those in the house, and just having those, since I mean I'm not using them out here. I essentially have a whole set of weights I can use in there. So it'd actually be like a perfect setup, especially in the winter if you like wanted to just deadlift or something. Like it'd be the perfect spot. And yeah, at some point I'll probably get a squat rack, but with dude, my additional house payment now, it's like $8.95 extra on top of my regular mortgage. So I'm putting like a whole paycheck into the house to get it to pay off by the winter or by December. So I say that, but I'm like, I bought a new platform. I bought all this dumb stuff, but try not to do anything too stupid. I figure with the indoor platform that at worst, or at best, I guess, it's just an additional platform. But if this one out here gets beat up or I need to replace the wood, then I have the wood already. And it's not like it will deteriorate inside the house unless, I don't know, pour water on it and then not dry it. But, oh, we're going to do 130. 130. That's what I'm thinking. Because like the new gym will be built in the winter, but like if I have a session, and that's what I'm kind of envisioning is like, well, yeah, but like I'm thinking winter. Like it's not like unless it was like 115 degrees and I literally couldn't train outside, then it would be useful. But even then, like the shed doesn't get that bad. But in the winter, if I had a session where I was like, I just want to do muscle snatches or just lift really light or just not do like just press, like I could do that and not have to go all the way to the gym because I'm not going to be able to come out here, you know, when it's 20 degrees, or I guess I could, but like it's going to feel a little better being in a 70-degree house than in 15-degree weather. But then really in the winter I could probably take the squat racks in and use there. But yeah, you should really at the gym like use some of that strongman stuff. The sled, really just kind of any movement outside. But honestly, you should mow your grass every week, even if you don't need it, just so you get the extra movement in. It's like 2 hours of, I don't know, I wish I would have done it all at once so I could see how long it would have taken to do the whole yard. With it shorter, it obviously would go a little bit faster, but well, when it's super long, that's the hard part is like you have to manage it, and if it gets too long, then it exponentially becomes more difficult to do. But the way I would do it, yeah, like rotating front and weak, but also I would weed eat, like the, you know, when you do the front, weed eat the back, or when you do, you know, like add that into one of those days. Because weed eating, especially in the back on those like tricky parts of the hills, will be nice to just have that managed. But if you weed eat consistently, then it will help with the mowing in the back as well, because you won't be thinking of like getting to certain spots. So your weed whacker works really well, so you'll be able to hit a lot of the different parts. You need, I don't know if you ordered string yet. You need to order string. You ain't got none left, and another battery. But once you consistently are like edging the yard and stuff, it really goes fast with that. It's when it's super long, it takes a while. It's like my hill. Like I've done it a second time since I did it the first time, and it took 20 minutes. Like it doesn't take really any time. And the electric mower as well, if you get one of those, that'll help with the hills too, because it's super light. Alright, I guess I gotta try 130. Well, that's what the weekends are for. Now that you have a house, your weekends are now planned for you. You must do the yard. So are you not working on Friday? If you're doing the food truck thing, or is it in the evening? I'm unemployed right now, so I don't know how time works for people who have to work normal jobs. Oh, okay. Well, you can just let me know what time that it is, because I'll train earlier then, and then I'll probably just come over early, hang out with the dogs, and then ride over with you guys there. As long as I get my training done early, then I'll be there early. Alright. Guess we can see if they can do 130. Yeah, no worries. No rush. So, I mean, my doctor's appointment's at 8 a.m. and I'll probably train like at noon or 1 or whatever, unless it's like super late when you want to go to the food truck. It'll be better to train early because it'll probably be hot. That's where now it's like it's either train at noon to 2 or wait till the evening because then it gets too hot. But yeah. Alright, 1:30. Tranqui la música. Best power in my life. Biggest power I've ever done. Jerks are getting better though. My dip drive is improving, so then I'm pushing under it better. So even though, you know, it wasn't a power and a clean, it was a, like I caught it high enough to in theory power it, but my jerk dip drive, because my left knee isn't achy, is getting deeper and better. And it's, I'm trying to just be almost slower with it, which I'm good at moving slow. But surprised that the jerk went as well as it did. Did a lot yesterday. Now we're gonna do some SATS press. I might have been able to do it if I didn't wait so long to do the rep, but I think I kind of waited because I kind of knew. I knew I was going to be doing a full one. But jerks are feeling like it's like I'm dip driving deeper, but also feels like I'm pushing it back behind my head better as well. I don't know if I told you, Justin, but on my snatches I'm holding the hook grip the whole time, like I'm not releasing it. And when I had tried to do that before, like I couldn't do it with heavier weights, but now I've been doing it with all of my reps in um, light or heavy, and it's been feeling really good. It's just really interesting. And my thumbs are starting to build the tolerance to just doing all the reps without thumb taper straps, or at least more of them. And wash these wrist straps. Maybe just set them on here. And the SOTS press will be a good little mobility. Good little stretchy poo. Well, the knee pain that I had, it wasn't. I actually did it back. It was on a no foot snatch, and I did an overhead squat after, and I hurt like something that's like in that part of my knee. So then it would just be hit or miss whether it would hurt, but it was that anytime I would dip down, and it wasn't related to like how deep or how aggressive, like it was just random when it would do it. Essentially, like, when your knees get pushed forward a little bit, it would sometimes like twinge a little bit, and that would be like right as like I'm changing directions or like at the bottom of the dip drive. So then it just it throws off the actual technique of it. Yeah, I mean that sometimes I experiment with having a shorter dip drive, but I am 31. But sometimes, yeah, it is too deep, or too quick and too short. And I think that's me trying to experiment with different ways of doing it. But when the knee was starting to do it, I really didn't. It was just doing anything, and it was just kind of uncomfortable. It was just being in that any bent knee position and like that jerk or whatever would sometimes be uncomfortable. But like when I did the front squat and jerk yesterday, just really like on the jerk, even though it felt heavy, just trying to almost squat back down, and then just I don't know if like letting the jerk be a more natural range of motion, but just trying to dip down as far as I can and then jumping, and it seemed to make the jerk go into a good spot, and it felt a lot smoother. With the quicker one, like it feels good sometimes, but I think I'm not good enough at timing that out well, and I still think it becomes a bit of a I don't say misnomer, I don't think that's really the correct term, but when you see people like Ilya or whatever, when they're really good at timing the dip drive of the jerk, they still actually dip pretty deep. They just dip really fast and aggressive, but they also have a shorter legs, so it makes it seem like it's a really short dip drive. Like Akayev, that Russian guy, is a really quick jerk as well. As far as the dip drive, like it's deceptive because they're built well for that top portion of the lift. But like a Dmitry Kokov, like that kind of longer dip is probably better for people with longer legs anyway. He's really a good model for me to kind of look at for a lot of technique, because as far as leverages, we're pretty similar in a lot of ways, besides the bow-legged, mostly limb length. But his dip drives are always much slower and deeper. Imagine if Ilya had the bow-legged short legs. He would have cleaned like 9,000 pounds. But well, it's not. Yeah, and it's not so much that like the bow-legged makes him lift differently. I mean, obviously it does, but there's other examples of guys having deeper dips. Yeah, he might have outlifted like Naeem. It's the same size torso, and then bow-legged legs like that. Been a dwarf and been an 80-kilo dwarf. He would have made Lu Jiajun look really bad. it would actually been a terrifying. Actually, it would be terrifying if he was actually bow-legged too. He's already so powerful. But whatchamacallit, there's other Russians that are like actually Oleski Trohidi, his kind of dip drive as far as like the depth of it is also good. Um, Even though he does power jerks, obviously it's not as related. But I think with a lot of Ukrainian lifters, they have their feet really wide for no reason, and so it's not really optimal. So it's trying to balance to be in a more athletic position for the jerk and trying to dip drive. You know, I just realized, completely off topic, but Dylan Cooper hasn't posted in a while. He was doing. It was actually really cool. So I know you don't watch YouTube stuff as much, but he was going around and training with just different lifters, and so I think he called them training companions. But he went to a variety. He trained with Kendrick Ferris. He trained with. There's a new USA lifter, the one I told you that could lift more than Wes Kitts. Just a bunch with Hampton Morris, just like a bunch of different guys. But he would go there and train with them, and then he had like his own training studio, and he had like one video, and I guess he just stopped training. Wonder if he got hurt or something. He has he started taking some gas, all those to feel better, to help with his sleep and different peptides, but kind of funny. Went to the doc side, but people always want to downplay the helpfulness of that kind of stuff. But if you feel better, your joints don't hurt as bad, you're going to lift harder and lift better all the time. And that's a performance enhancer in that. Yeah. But like to his credit, he did like say when he was like, I'm starting this, and it was logical reasons. And actually that was his reasoning too, is like, this is my career is lifting and I'm not competing anymore, so I'm just going to take this and feel better. So at least he was honest about it, but it's not, and I don't think he's on like, we talked about like different like peptides, but I mean, if he was really aggressively like taking stuff, he would be sniffing, he'd be snatching a lot more and clean jerking a ton more. And he's kind of been, I think he's been a lot more at the same numbers, like he's not getting any better, but I think because he goes around and travels more, he's able to get to those numbers easier, probably. So I think that was the last thing he had. He had something where he's going to try to push to get to heavier weights again. But I guess he might have got hurt doing that. Who knows? But yeah, definitely more respectable to just be, out up front with it. Not go the Girth Brooks route and just say, like, I hurt my shoulder and in the war, or, hurt in the military. I just never really addresses the obvious. Why don't you compete, Girth? You're lifting. You would win this. I'm just not strong enough. Not good enough. It's not because I'm on trend. It's because I'm just not strong enough. Which, I mean, I respect in the sense that if you just want to, get big and lift heavy. Yeah, that's what, like, when he never really addressed, I don't think he really, I don't know if he even lifts anywhere. I haven't followed him in a while, but he did get married and have a kid, so as far, or at least he got married. I assume he had a kid as well. But yeah, I just remember like people asked why he didn't compete, and like he didn't. It's like it's like come on, bro. Like you're balding, you're red as a tomato, and you're lifting really heavy weights very easily or very routinely. Like we know what's happening, but at the same time, like I don't even feel the need to like think about like natty or nots on people. Once I see numbers that people can do, I'm like kind of know what's happening, and I'm so used to thinking in kilos now that I don't usually put it together. Like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, of course, a 190. Like Ryan Grinsland, he just he miraculously, it's a miracle. I don't know if you saw, he did a 170 block snatch. He just did a jerk off blocks with 210 or 220 at like 80 kilos or whatever he's at now. But his last competition that he did, it was like a 140 snatch or 145. I extrapolated to myself, like, man, I wonder how cool it would be if, like, in a year I could add 15 kilos to a snatch, and even in training and do it at any body weight. Like, that would be pretty bonkers. But, like, when you see that, you're like, what did he even do in comp? But I remember I looked at when he first started competing with MASH, like a 120, 150, something like that. Pretty light body weight, but really realistic. And then he was like, 140, 170, and 180, doing all these crazy lifts, and then very, very rapidly getting stronger without gaining much body mass. I remember asking my mom, and I asked her in pounds. I like, because I lift similar numbers to him, the 120, 150. I was like, Mom, what would you think if I was, snatching like 265, and then like, in a couple years, maybe let's say 2 years, I was snatching, 330. She's like, you're on drugs. It's just, snatch. Talking about weightlifting, but good old Ryan Grimslin. But also, I saw the whatchamacallit, the guy who allowed, or he helped all the people like the track and field, so like Marion Jones and Barry Bonds, a lot of those guys, the Balco steroid scandal. He was talking about how athletes like current, like he's actually went to prison for all that stuff, or like doing stuff related to that, and now he trains like a boxer or something. I don't know who he trains, but apparently he's on the straight and narrow. But he said, can athletes take drugs now? And actually, for that guy, I believe that he's probably on the straight and narrow, because if he would get caught with stuff, he would go like have prison problems. But he was talking about how do athletes now currently get away with taking drugs, and basically what happened to John North, if you remember, he had a whereabouts violation on the third attempt, or the third attempt of them doing a drug test. He wasn't there, and so then he got a full ban. And that rule is still in place. So if you have 3 whereabouts violations, but let's say that on Monday, I had a whereabouts. They said we're going to drug test you, but I had just injected a whole bunch of tren in my butt, and didn't want to be drug tested. Now I'm not there. You come up with some excuse and you disappear. You do that again. So let's say in 2 months I get called up again. They're like, we're going to come drug test you, and I disappeared again. Well, then at that point, I kind of have to be off the sauce. But for those 2 months, while you are hiding from them, essentially, you can be blasting away, and that's true of like anyone currently. And if you extrapolate that to other countries, they are probably still paying bribes to get around drug tests. But like, there's also a mechanism for people that are 100% on the up and up as far as their country goes to get around drug tests. And so when you see people that are miraculously getting stronger all the time, they probably have a couple of whereabouts violations in their pocket. Because then I think he said as well, after 12 or 18 months, I forget what the timeline was, one of those, so if you have, say, 2 violations for whereabouts, one of those disappears. So you go back to 1. And anytime you get a whereabouts violation, it's never public knowledge. So if I were to get a whereabouts violation, in April, it wouldn't be public knowledge. Yeah. Well, I'm saying, like, as far as like, even because people will say, well, Americans don't. Americans are all natural. I'm like, well, the whereabouts thing is a very easy way for anyone anywhere to get around drug tests, and it certainly is probably easier in Bulgaria to let's assume that WADA is 100% going to be equitable in how they go around and do drug tests. It's going to be easier to find someone in Nebraska than it is someone in Sochi or Bulgaria on a random Tuesday, and especially travel and stuff there. But even if you assume that everyone is on the even likelihood of getting a drug test, everyone still has those 2 whereabouts violations that they're able to get, and be gone for 2. And that's not just for weightlifting, that's for track and field and all of that stuff. But the funniest thing that happened recently too, hey, no worries, Justin. I think I've told you about Wes Kitts, but right before the Olympics, he got popped for a banned stimulant, and they just like push it under the rug so he could compete at the Olympics. So it was like public knowledge. So like, it was accidental. He's only going to be like suspended for like a month or whatever, so he could still compete at the Olympics. But anyone else, like the Sha'Carri Richardson, the track and field, she got popped for weed and had like a 6-month suspension. But apparently Wes Kitts can pull some strings, and that, and also he bought Instagram followers. If you ever look at any of his Instagram stuff, he does not get a lot of likes on it relative to the amount of followers he has. He has an absurd amount of followers, so he randomly just bought a bunch, which is very adorable. He's, I don't know, apparently sensitive about how much following he has, but good stuff. But have fun with Counter Strike. You should play some Smite. Some Smite 2. The game would probably give you a virus on your computer. Now we're gonna do some sots. Sots for the thoughts. As my mom used to always say. Sotties for the dotties. Sorry, I'm just creeping on the or on the YouTube. The YouTube. Alright. guess I should do socks press at some point. Don't really want to. It's very heavy. Mentally. But I suppose having stretchy shoulders is probably good. Probably. Muy bien. Alright. Alright. Alrighty then. Drum and bass to make the shoulders throw. Whatever it takes. There's gotta be some way to get this off. I'm just too dumb to figure it out. Inside is a battery. And that battery can be charged. Guess I could have left it into the thing anyway, but is no problem. Okay. Just one set. Have a good night too, CW.